5th race, the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup in the Celerina Valley, high in the Engadine Mountains in the Swiss Alps. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. For more than a century and a quarter, they've been sliding down the hill from Moritz to Celerina. And this year we continue in that worthy tradition on the longest, the fastest, the only natural ice track on the planet. There you are, there's my first mistake, we're barely a second in. Alongside me, Greg West. Greg, you were on the track this morning. It's hand-built, every year it's subtly different. Coaches, what are we looking for today? All
right, so this week it is St. Moritz built this year is a little bit more Altenburg than it is Eagles. So it's got some tricks to it. We're going through kink 1 and heading toward kink 2 right now and into wall. These are huge, long straightaways that are very, very flat. Little taps like we just saw the Forerunner take right there are death to your time. We're talking tenths. We're going through the wall corner right now. It's been causing a little bit of trouble, and then into snake 1 and snake 2. We'll see some action on the left side going into Sunny right there. And now things get real interesting as we go into Nash and Dixon. People have been really, really struggling with Dixon right there. We've seen some sleds coming out and hitting left, going into Horseshoe. I did it myself. And then up near the roof and out, we're going to see speeds upwards of 103 kilometers an hour as they go through Telephone. It's called Telephone because in the past, way back in the day, if you crashed, you called the little telephone that was sitting there and told them, hey, don't send another sled. Now we get into what we call the 4 rights. Going into, I believe this is Bridge, into Gunter's Sachs, and then out into a field. You're going 133 kilometers an hour into Martineau. It's got a little blip on the end. We'll see some action on the left side, hitting the left wall, and then Portago into the finish line. It is the longest track in the world. It is the smoothest track in the world, and if you take a poll, everybody's gonna say it is the best track in the world.
Yeah, no question. No question at all. Fabulous location, fabulous views, if you've got time to enjoy them. Lena Nikita of Russia, our World Cup points leader, from Jacqueline Lerling, the Olympic silver medalist, and Tina Herman lying in 3rd spot. Laura Dees in 10th, who's pulled out of the race. She's had a chronic chest infection for the last couple of weeks and has finally just caught up with her, so she won't be racing. Janine Flock, we believe, should still be. Winner last week in Innsbruck for the first time in her life. She won on a home track, and she also, like so many athletes actually now, 6 weeks on the road, everybody's starting to cough and hack all over the place, and they're all sharing nice, hot, humid dressing rooms as well, so the germs going round. Renata Kutsina of Russia first off. Last off in our 19, now 18 sled heat will be a brand new World Cup debutant for Russia. There's Janine Flock, last week's winner. And Janine's had her share of podiums here. She's won 3 of the last 5 races, so she's got to be a good shout as well. But the Canadian women have always gone strongly here. We'll see Elizabeth Meyer quite early on in the start list. Mima Reniva, a couple of years ago, won by very nearly 2 seconds. That's an unheard of margin of victory, even on a 1.5 miles of ice like this is. What a great view at the start of the St. Moritz Bob Run. The sport of skeleton started about 100 meters from here on the Cresta Run. The modern skeleton sliders compete on the bobsleigh track. This is round 5 of the Women's World Cup. Martin Haven and Greg West watching Renata Kutsina of Russia start the action.
St. Moritz a little bit different from a normal track in the fact that it gets faster throughout the day, so you actually do not want to draw the money ball, the number 1. But as these ladies are starting later in the day, it should be less of a factor, but it definitely showed during the men's race.
Well, she establishes the start record for the season. There have been no races on the track this year, none, not Swiss Championships, not nothing. So she's the first one down. She gets a start record and she will get a track record no matter how bad the run is.
A little bit late into Nash. We start coming out and just barely keeping it off the wall, working it back into Horseshoe up near the roof. See her working pretty hard to sneak it through. Not everybody will be that lucky. 102.7. Keep that number in mind. That is the telltale. You're halfway down the track. If you're carrying speed out of Horseshoe, you have a chance at the bottom.
Good speed, 111.7. Quite a lot of the men were up at that sort of speed about an hour ago in the second heat. The track gets faster as the day warms up. Down at the bottom, what's she going to have? 132. We saw 140s and change from the men. And at the line, the track record is 1:10.28. She may hold that for a couple of sleds, probably not much longer. But that establishes the record. The track is hand-built every single year. It's subtly different. Snake 1 to Snake 2, Nash to Dixon, not normally a major issue. This year, they've caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, and we saw that from Renata. We saw her come out of Sunny and on the wrong side of the track going into the Nash and Dixon. As she went into Horseshoe, she's working the sled hard. We see her coming through Horseshoe right now. Look at those legs spread. She's putting a lot of input into the sled to try to sneak it through into Telephone. She was successful, but that's a lot of steering.
Style rarely reminiscent of Katie Eulender with lots of knees apart. Now let's next see Kimberly Boss. Last year, Renata Kutziner missed the cut in 21st. Kimberly Boss ended up in 20th. Coach Brian yells her off at the top. Hi, Shelley Rudman, I know you're watching. 5:29, there you go, new start record for Kimberly Boss. And again, there's not many places where Kim will be the start record holder, even for a couple of sleds.
The 5:29 is very nice, but what we see here all the way down the wall through Kink 1 and Kink 2, she's letting the sled run. You don't see the legs moving around much, don't see the shoulders moving around much. This is where you need to build speed through the flat portion of the track.
2 World Cup races here, 20th last year, 5th the year before Kimberly Boss. So which Kim is sliding today?
We'll find out here in Horseshoe. She's taking it in late. That's the line you want, but it takes bravery. Steers a little hard off the exit, sneaks it through. She's up 2/10, and she goes into the second half of the track, 1:02.8.
Look good and relaxed, didn't she? And that's the secret here, is to do as little as possible, but in the right places.
Down through the 4 rights, pulling away a bit up a quarter second, has good speed through the bottom, 1:12 to Renata's 1:11. We'll check her speed as she's coming into Martineau, 1:35 flat. That is absolutely ripping. Kim Boss throwing down a burner, and we'll have another track record, half second up on the Russian. Kim Boss said, hey, I came to play.
That is a big run from Kimberly. Oh, Kimberly Boss. And the other Kim Malm Ins of Belgium, really hurt her elbow yesterday on the in-run. She got up too early and then got catapulted over the mats there into her sled.
See Kim here on the start ramp. She has one of the most linear starts on tour. You see her, nothing's really going side to side. Everything's forward, and that just helps your cause as you're going through the grooves.
Big smile from Kimberly Boss of the Netherlands. First 2 of our sleds down. Next up is 30-year-old Kimberly Murray. So Kim from Great Britain in her 5th World Cup start ever. Previous races here, once in Europa Cup, twice in ICC, all of which were 1-heat races because of snow. So she's never done a second heat in this track.
Well, with only 19 sleds in the field, I think that she's going to get it today. Kim looking nice and relaxed, looking for a good result at a rough couple of weeks, but she's down only 0.05 of a second going through wall. You see the nice polish on the track from the men's race. The women are going to have a chance. Little rough, though, on the exit of Snake 1 clips going into Sunny. Her only up back 1/100th of a second going to Nash Dixon.
Can be very close. We saw in the top 20 in the men's race no fewer than 3 dead heats. And this is on the longest track on the planet. She's 500ths up. Let's take a look at the speed. 101.9, fraction slower than Kimberly Boss.
She had a good horseshoe, but she had a skid on the exit between Telephone and Shamrock. 1:11.3. She's down a little bit on speed, 0.07 of a second. She needs a really good 4 right section to have a chance here.
And she needs a great exit out of Sachs. Hits the wall. She's going to be 3rd at the line, not 1st. 1:31.4, decent speed, but not enough, I don't think, to stay in front of Kimberly Boss. And she halves the distance between her and Renata Kutziner. It's funny, the last couple of corners between Martineau and Portago, we've seen sleds lose 6 places in the men's race.
You making fun of me right now?
No,
Sure?
not at all. Not you were by far not the only one. If you hit left between those 2 corners, you might as well just put the handbrake on and park it. It's hard.
See, exit Snake 1 into Snake 2 there. The sled flopping out, up in Horseshoe. She doesn't quite get the height you're looking for there. You really want to get up near the woodwork and dive it out. And then out of Telephone into Shamrock, you see the sled just kick sideways and skid up into the pressure. And that's just like hockey stopping on skates. It's hitting the brakes.
Okay, next up, 24-year-old Liz Meyer. And the Canadian was 3rd in the race here last year. She was silver 3 seasons earlier. She is, well, I'm not going to say it because start record holder Greg was just tipping her as a potential winner here. So let's see how she fares.
5:24 start, a good way to get away. You see her working just a little bit down the wall, but the runners are straight. She's 600ths up as she went through the flat portion of the track. Bromley sleds really like this snake section. A little rough on the exit, but pretty decent. She's going to be in the green, 700ths up. We'll get a speed check as she goes through Horseshoe in just a moment, but a good-looking top of the track from Liz.
Yep.
Working a little bit hard and up to the roof and hits it. Oh, impacting on the way into telephone. That is going to hurt her cause. 1:01.7 is the speed, but it actually hurts a little more than that.
Yeah, kilometre an hour down on Kimberly Boss, so she's still in the green. 1:11.6. Kim was 1:12.4. Still a kilometre down. Gap is down. From 1600s to 700s, she'll be in the red at the next split, but a good straight down into Martineau and Portago could rescue it all. 1:34, 2Ks down.
Great speed, though, considering that exit of Horseshoe. Liz really reeling it in.
Wow.
Holds on a second. She's only 600ths back. How fast would that run have been if she doesn't tag the top of Horseshoe?
Well, she got big early height in Horseshoe. You see a yellow advertising banner right in the center of the corner. There's Sarah Reed, bronze medalist here in the World Championships back in 2013. Big height, but early on, you need to be holding the height late, Greg, don't you? And then driving down, where the sled's then taking her back up.
Isn't it Jimi Hendrix said, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky"?
Yeah, well, her and Grizz up in the woodwork on the first heat.
Now, I think Liz is going to have a chance to do some serious damage second heat.
Next up, last year's winner and our newly crowned European Championship, the third time she's taken that title. She's taken 3 gold medals here in 4 years, Janine Flock.
Nice exit at Kink 1, right down the pipe with no work. Looking smooth and relaxed.
And look at her shoulders, the way that her shoulders are tucked right down onto the sleds, like a motorcyclist tucking herself out of the airstream.
Janine making this look real easy through the top of the track. She's back a 1/10 of a second. That's just from start time. But watch her reel it in nice and smooth through Snake 1 and 2. 500, she's already halved it. Good looking line into Nash, into Dixon. She's picking her spot here.
So there are no problems at the top of the track if your name's Janine. Clearly decent height and a great landing off the Horseshoe. Here we go, 1:03.2. That's half a kilometre faster than anybody else.
She can maintain it through the bottom here. She's in the green and starting to pull away. 1:13.6, fastest speed of the day. Going through the 4 rights right now. Right down the middle, no major dramas. She's going to be your leader, but the question is by how much?
New track record coming up, 1:34. That's a kilometre slower than Kimberly Boss. Maybe it's going to be closer at the line than we thought. It is a new track record, 1:09.64. But I tell you what does that tell you about Kimberly Boss's run? The Dutch girl put down a real flyer. 1200s behind in second. Elizabeth Meyer, 1900s back in third.
Matthias Guggenberger does not look super happy with that run. She's a little low here in Horseshoe, but I think that's her preferred line. You see the left toe on the ground.
And the right.
Both toes. I was being nice.
She was in 2 minds there. Well, Floriana, her teammate, had a good run in the men's competition and desperately trying to get some air into her lungs against the infections. Janine Flock leads from Kimberly Boss. 5 sleds down in our field of 18. Next up is last year's silver medalist. Last year's winner leads Janine Flock. Tina Herman next up.
5:34 start from Tina. Once again, you see the quick toe action going into Kink 1, doing a nice job of letting her run. She's using her head a little bit, but the runners are straight. A nice looking line into wall.
Very different athlete from Janine Flock, the leader. She's about 6-8 inches shorter, and that means all sorts of differences in body weight and where you work the sled.
Different line through Snakes, but she pulls even here. We'll see what she can do going through Horseshoe. This is going to be the big telltale. Watch the setup. A lot of the sleds are going late, but she clips to the left wall and runs a really low line through Horseshoe. She's up 400ths of a second, 1:02.3 though, so that's going to bleed away.
And you didn't see the mistakes as much as hear them. All of that scratching slows you down.
1:12.5, pretty good speed still, but not quite as good as the Austrian Flock.
This is for second or more likely third behind Kimberly Boston.
Good looking exit of Sachs, 133.8 though, so she's got the third fastest speed of the day. She won't pull the lead. I think that's going to slaughter in third though.
At the line it is third, 1500s back, so 200s is the battle for second. Kimberly Boston second, Tina Hermann, last year's silver medalist, in third. Now for me, the question already is if she's in a medal-winning position for the first time since Pyeongchang, what does Kimberly Boston do? She had a medal in Pyeongchang. No, she hasn't. Her best is eighth place in Segulda, actually.
See Tina come out and clipping that left wall, and it pushes her back to the middle of the track. You don't want to quite go in dead middle there. You really want to send it late. She uses the plan B line, keeps it down low. You see her using the toe to pin it there, because if you don't, it's going to get picked up on the end. You're going to get shucked into the wall.
Yeah, she steered it down with the left toe and then tried to hold it up with the right. So again, in two minds. What about her teammate, Jacqueline Lurling? Janine Flock, the leader. And Lurling yet to claim a medal on this track. There can't be many places we go where that's the case.
I think this has got a shorter start ramp this year. It kind of plays into Jacka's favor.
Well, normally, she and Tina Hermann make hay. The longer the track, the better they like it.
5.50 getaway. See that chin strap flapping in the air as she's going down from kink 2 to wall. That's got to get really annoying hitting in the chin.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing 85 miles an hour down at the bottom.
See how she goes through snake 1 and snake 2. Not quite as smooth as Tina, running a more traditional line. She's back 2800ths of a second. But if you've been watching any of our broadcasts this year, you know that Lulling pulls it back late. She built big speed. Middle line in the horseshoe. She's running the low line as well. Picked up in the end. Clips on the entrance of telephone. That's not going to help her cause. 103.4. She's back a tenth of a second. Let's see how it manifests through the bottom of the track.
4th, 8th, and 6th, her 3 World Cup starts here.
Big speed, 114 flat, fastest speed of the day. If she can keep it clean through the bottom here, she's going to have a chance to pull it back. We got a race.
Oh, out of Sachs. She was in late. She was always going to hit right. What about at the bottom? 136.2, fastest of all by a margin. Is it a new track record? It is a new track record. 109.56. She has the lead, and that may be the first time she's ever had a lead here in St. Moritz.
136 speed. We're starting to approach Whistler level speeds here at the bottom of the track. It definitely has plenty in it this week. This is the fastest I've ever seen the St. Moritz track as far as speed goes.
Particularly speed here out of horseshoe. No one can remember speed here. Look at that. She's desperately trying to hold it up with her head. Stay up, stay up, stay up.
You see her come through and clip on the exit, though. She's a sled and a half low, but the German sleds seem to like that line. But that on-take right there is a lot of energy. She did a nice job of getting it out of the corner. I think most people would have hung it up there and crushed the wall.
Kendall Westenberg of the USA, currently lying 9th in the World Cup rankings. Her 29th World Cup. World Cup best results. Silver medal just before Christmas in Winterberg. Let's see if she can get in the medals here. 5:44 is a good start.
Kendall's a little trouble on the exit of kink 1, but kept it off the wall like a pro. She's had a really good week of training this week. I think she has a chance to do some serious damage. She's up 400s right now, and she's been breeding big speed late.
Silver medalist here 2 years ago behind Mimi Reniva, ahead of Janine Flock.
Pulls even as she's on the exit of Sunny, but this has kind of been her mastery area. See what she can do. Keeps it off the wall, going into horseshoe. We'll check the speed.
Looking super relaxed, Kendall Westenberg, 1100s back. She needs 103.7, fastest of all, highest speed of anybody.
This is where she's going to turn on the jets. This is where she's pulled people back all week. 114 speed, great speed through the bottom of the hill. She's got a nice looking line through bridge, in the Gunter Sachs, a little tap on the left wall, but it's not going to hurt her that much. 135.3, really good speed through the bottom. Little touch on Martineau.
Close at the line, 3rd place, 1400s back. What a good race we got on our hands. Lurling leads by 800s from Flock, 1400s from Westenberg, 2100s from Kimberly Boston, 2300s Tina Hermann back, 2700s back Elizabeth Meyer.
I got so excited I couldn't talk.
Yeah. How does that happen?
She was ripping through the bottom of the track. It's what she's been doing all week. She really meshes. A little clip on the wall here out of Gunter Sachs, where I think she could have had a chance to put a move on for the lead. Same thing out of Martineau.
Yeah.
That little tap just annoys you.
Late into Sachs, and that's Tree, Leap, Bridge, all catching up with you. Here's our World Cup points leader, Elena Nikitina, winner in Sigulda, winner in Altenburg. Silver medalist last week in the Europeans in Innsbruck. But Nikitina here last year, 7th.
5-1-2.
Wow.
Fastest start by a country mile. We're pretty used to that, though.
Yeah.
Use the toe to get through kink 1. You see her working it a little bit down from kink 2 to wall. A little toe action on the left side, but she's up 68 hundredths of a second.
Yeah.
You see, it's so flat up there. Any lead you have does multiply.
She doesn't have the speed that Dave Greshjeshin had in the final day of sliding yesterday. He had 598 kilometers an hour out of the first turn.
That's how you rip right
Yeah,
there.
I'm not quite sure what happened with the timing there, but she is well in front. 3/4 of a second up, Elena Nikitina.
Sneaks it through, but its time's coming back. 6,300s, 103.5, pretty decent speed. It's going to take a major drama to lose a half second at the bottom, though.
Last year, 7th place was the only top 10 finish she's had in 6 years racing here.
6/10. See where it goes here on the next split. Out of Gunter Sachs. Get the speed check. 135.0. Really good speed from the Russian. Comes out clipping the left wall a little bit, but she's going to be the leader.
New track record by 45 hundredths of a second. Wow. Well,
That was impressive.
It took for the second heat of the men before they got below a 1:09. That's quicker than the leader in the first heat of the men's race. Sunbin Korea went 2 or 3 hours ago, but again, that shows how fast the track gets later in the day, and what a blazing run that was from Nikitina.
She's known for her blazing starts, as we see right here, but what is scary on the women's field is she's figuring out how to drive.
Yep.
And she's becoming more and more consistent. We've seen it all season long.
Yep.
There's a really good run. You have to be nitpicky if you're going to pick it apart.
Well, half of her World Cup wins have come this season. That's how consistent she's being. Next up, Jane Channel of Canada. 30-year-old in her 36th World Cup start. The same as Laura Dees, who was due to be in the heat just in front of her. Laura has pulled out because of illness. 5:20 start, only 800 slower than the start record of Elena Nikita, and that really puts her in with a shout.
Nice looking line down from kink 2 in the wall. You see her not working a lot, staring deep in the wall. Back 1/4 of a second on the Russian. We'll see how she can manage through the snakes. Nice looking smooth line, no major drama. Use a little toe on the Exodus snake too, but nothing big. 3/10 back, but clipping the wall before Nash.
Gets safely out of Nash, and Dixon clips the wall again, and little tap dance into Horseshoe. Very low line in Horseshoe.
Ooh.
Big hit into Telephone. Shamrock is not going well. And Devil's Dyke, she's got to steady the ship now. 100 kilometers an hour is shy on speed.
Jane's got her work cut out for a 109.9, down pretty big. She knows it though, and at this point, you're just trying to set yourself up for a second run. You have to be professional and keep the wheels on it, because you're gonna have to come back the second run and try to cut some people down. 132.3.
132.3 is 4 kilometers an hour down, and a tip-tap between Martineau and Portago. Slowest run of the heat so far, 1:10.48.
Kevin Boyer cheering her on with intense enthusiasm.
Boyer had a great day in the men's race. Top 10 result for him, but Jane, the body language tells you everything you need to know about that run.
Been there, Jane.
Yep.
I feel you. I feel you. Middle line through Horseshoe, that little tap on the wall. She did a nice job of getting it back together, but you see what happens when you hang it up. You come out of Horseshoe and take that shot, and I can tell you what, you feel that on your hip the next day.
Well, she walks away from that one. She'll have to regather her thoughts for the second heat. Teammate Mimi Reneva, winner here 2 years ago by 1.8 seconds. That's like putting Tretyakov in the women's field.
5:18, good start for Mimi. Great job. Nice looking line into kink 1 and kink 2. She has a chance right there with that velocity through this flat area of the track. Head tucked low, she's back only a 10th on Nikitina. Now, Alina had a pretty good run, but if you watch the men's race at all, you know these Bromley sleds have something for this track today. 800, she's closing.
Yeah, she was 600s behind in the push. She's only 800s behind as she gets to Nash and Dixon. She needs a good run, but it gets a little clip into Horseshoe.
Same line as her teammate had, but she sneaks it through on the exit. She's back 500ths of a second. 103.4. Good speed on the exit of Horseshoe.
Fastest at the bottom was Jacqueline Lurling, 1:14. She's close. This is as quick as the race leader. She's still 600s out of the lead of Elena Nikitina. One good slide down the track here. Tiny toe steer. 134.3. Avoids the rub, and at the line is 1100s back. So race on. Elena Nikitina no longer clear of the field. The gap first to second, 1100s. The gap second to third, 3400s. That's where the big margin is. Mimi in the shadow of Nikitina, Lurling and the rest some way back.
She does a nice job of generating height in Horseshoe, even after that clip on the wall, going in and sneaks it through, unlike Jane was able to do. Letting it fly on the exit of Portago, the finish curve.
Yep.
That hit on the walls after the timing on, doesn't hurt.
Sarah Reid, bronze medalist here in the Worlds 2013, carrying the sled. Good to see her back coaching the Canadians. Next up, Germany's Sofia Griebel, 5th in the World Cup standings for the 28-year-old. Didn't race here last year. She was not in the World Cup at that stage. Anna Fernstedt was. She finished top 6. Griebel's best result here, 9th place back in 2011.
5:36 getaway from Sofia, kind of a mid-pack start time. You hear the toes though. She's in an area of the track that is basically flat. So anytime you drop a toe, it really costs you on speed. Back a half second as she goes through a wall.
9th fastest start, 10th place. You can see that how glazed the track gets where the runners polish off the frost. That reflective look on the track surface.
Back 0.6 of a second through Nash and Dixon. Looking for that nice late line of the horse. You're going to take it up to the roof. Sneaks it through.
Good height and lands it nicely. This is where she'll pick up speed. 103.6. Only Kendall Westenberg had higher speed.
Great speed from the German. She needs to keep it together here in the bottom track. 113.5. Excellent speed through the bottom. Good looking line through tree, in bridge, leap, and through Gunter Sachs. Little clip on the wall.
Still a long way behind the leader, but she's come from 10th at the start. This will be maybe top 6. Around Kimberly Boston of the Netherlands, just ahead of Kimberly Boston of the Netherlands. How much is just ahead? 100th of a second.
We have a race on our hands right now from 4th back to 9th.
Yep.
It is a pile of people.
It is a real Eagles logjam, isn't it?
And right in the middle of that, you see the girl on your screen right now, Sofia Griebel. You see her take it up near the woodwork in Horseshoe. That is the bravery line, but that's where the speed lies.
No toes, all steered off with the head.
All about trust through there.
Yeah. She got up. When you get on and you know it's good, that's it. Just let the sled do its job. So Elena Nikita, Mimi Reniva, the battle for the lead behind everyone fighting Jacqueline Lurling for a medal. 24 years old last week, Maddy Smith of Great Britain, her 8th World Cup start. She's had 2 races here in fact, she had 3 races here in 3 weeks in her life in St. Moritz.
5:31 getaway, good looking line down the wall. You see a little toe action though. She's dropping that left toe just a bit to guide the sled. She's 3,600ths back as she goes through wall. Nice looking line through snakes. All you're doing here is you're wanting to build speed the Horseshoe and then use the slingshot to get out. Hi, John Morgan, if you're listening. In through Nash and Dixon. Now here it is. You're bearing it in late. Little tap on the wall, but she uses the left toe to keep it there. Pretty high, a little pickup on the exit, and a small little bump on the exit of on the entrance to telephone.
All right, still potential for a top 6 run here for Maddy Smith of Great Britain. 24 years old, 8th World Cup of the season. John Morgan will join us for the North American swing, by the way, those who are asking. He is fine, happy, healthy, and very busy. Down the tubes, out of Sachs, 134, good speed. Could this bring her back up into the top half dozen? She was 9th onto the straight, and it's 10th of the line, 109.99. Just a little too much going on, and I wonder, none of the British sleds in the men or the women's field have had great speed down below kind of tree, leap bridge, all of that.
A solid-looking run for Maddy. A couple of small little things, but nothing to be too nitpicky about. We see that bump on the left wall going to horseshoe, though. We've seen it from a bunch of the athletes. We see it right here. Coming out of Dixon, she's fighting it. That little clip, you see her dragging the left toe to keep it there. Not quite the height she wants. You see the sled get picked up on the end and then clip going into telephone. And it's a little bump, but it's a lot of speed.
Maddy Smith's first run is done. Next up for Switzerland's Marina Gilardoni, her 67th World Cup, 55 in skeleton, 11 as a bobsled brakewoman, 5:28 start.
Fifth fastest start from the Swiss girl and a good-looking kink 1. Now, but you see her dropping her toes, going through kink 2 a little bit. She's settled back down on the sled, right down the pipe, staring into wall. She's back 0.4 of a second. We'll see what she can do through snakes.
Bronze medalist here in 2016. She was also the European bronze medalist in that race. That's her only medal here on a skeleton sled. She's been a junior world champion gold medalist here on this track among her many appearances at St. Moritz.
Bearing it nice and late, way up to the woodwork and sneaks it through. She's back 0.75 of a second, 102.1, so the toe action doesn't help her, but she definitely used the bravery line through horseshoe.
Yes, she did. 1:14 top speed at the bottom. She's 2 kilometers an hour down. She needs a clean run, exiting the fast 4 right-handers here, and that is good. It's going to be a little left into Martineau. Does she hit out into Portago? Just a little bit. And at the line, disappointed. 12th place, I think, for Marina Gilardoni. 5:28 start. She'll be doing well to take a medal from there.
Yeah, not the run that Marina was looking for. She, I think, had to force it the height up into horseshoe. Not exactly the line you want. Right up near the woodwork. In fact, I think her right foot kicked it with her left toe on the ground. We'll see it better right here. Just clips it with her right foot. That is up high. That is hanging. You cannot short her for bravery. That is that full send.
Next up is 22-year-old Belgian Malm Ins. Whacked her elbow badly coming off the sled at the end of her first training run yesterday. But back in action, she got the feeling back in the arm. Just whacked a nerve. Let's see how she does.
5:31, 7th fastest start from the Belgian, but more importantly, a nice clean line from kink 1 to kink 2.
3 World Cups here, 19th, 18th, 17th. Let's see a little bit more of a step forward in progress from Kim.
4/10 back, she's gone through wall. I think you'll see the bleeding stop here. That was all based off push time.
And one of the smallest, lightest athletes in the field, which doesn't help. The longer the track is, the more mass you would like to have on board.
Good control through Nash. See, quick drop of the toe. Good looking line on the exit of Dixon, though. That's what you're looking for. Up near the woodwork, the toe out is not bad. 6/10 back. We'll check the speed, 102.6. So pretty good speed, but a little clip on the wall there.
Now she's got to get back in front of the sled in her head as she gets into these fast 4 right-handers. Tree, leap, bridge, and then the Sachs curve, named after the man who built the Dracula Club. Little tap on the wall down into Martineau.
132.3, pretty decent speed. That little clip on the wall.
Oh, still a top 10 run at the line. Oh, 14, top 10 going down the straight. And that clip between Martineau and Portago is so costly.
Well, you're going to go about 30 feet uphill into Portago, which is the last corner. So anytime you hurt your speed and then go uphill, you've lost a lot of momentum. We saw right there. Coming out of Gunter Sachs, she's in 10th. She'd been in 10th most of the run. And those 2 tiny little clips. See her up near the woodwork. Good timing with the toes. She's not digging it in, just dragging it to bring the sled out. A little counter action, a good looking line through there, but that little clip at the very bottom is what hurt her.
Yep. Next up, Savannah Grable of the USA. The 30-year-old finished in 19th place in the race here last year. She's had a 16th and a 19th place in 2 World Cup starts. Her 23rd start in the World Cup.
See what Savannah can do here on the start ramp, 5.52. So slowest start of the day, but Savannah's not known for her start times. Savannah's known for building big speed late. She's got that kind of lolling-like mentality down the track. The longer the track, the more time for her to reel it in. She's 7,800s back going into wall, though, so she does have her work cut out for her a little bit.
Well, Well, Lurling was a long way back, wasn't she, and found sort of 6/10s down the bottom. She's still 4,500s off the leader. Let's see where Savannah Grable is. Still not finding speed on anybody at the moment. 16th push, 16th place, heading down into Horseshoe.
Little clip on the wall. She's back 1.2 seconds, 1:02.5. Decent speed through the bottom, or through the middle though. If she has a good 4 right, she has a chance to pull it back a little bit.
We're already 10 seconds longer in this run than she would have been getting to the finish line in Innsbruck a week ago. So that's a huge adjustment in your patience levels.
Just more time to claw it back. 1:34, good speed through the bottom.
If she can keep it clean here, this could be fringing up towards the top 10, and at the line, lost a spot, 16th place, 1:10.61.
Not sure where that went away.
No, it didn't look that tough.
1:34 speed at the bottom. That is very, very competitive speed as I'm looking over the charts.
Yeah.
You would think that she'd claw it back a little bit there. Didn't see, maybe on the replay on the start, did we lose some velocity somewhere? I don't see it. I'm a little confused by that. I think she is too.
Little toe steer there. Maybe she'll have to free the sled up a little. For the second heat, Savannah Grable with the smile as ever. One more to go. Next up is Valentina Magali of Switzerland. She has done 3 races in her life on this track. This is one of only 7 tracks she's ever raced on. That's how fresh she is to the sport.
5:36 start time. I thought she would be a little bit more competitive, and you see the sled starting to weave on her a little bit.
It's only the 25-year-old's 4th World Cup race.
Back 6/10 of a second, coming through wall a little bit later than you want to be in the snake, but she handles it really, really well.
Watching a couple of her training runs over the last few days, she's been good at the top, and then once you get out of Horseshoe, it's all been coming at her a little fast for the processor. Let's see how she handles it today.
Big steer on the entrance and the exit, sneaks it through. She's back a second. We'll check the speed, 1:01.8, so she's down a little bit on speed. Clean looking lines, but you can hear her toes on the ice. That means she's really working for these lines.
But this is around Jane Channel, Savannah Grable territory, so accomplished sliders. This is a little neater than some of her training runs. She avoids the clip on the right, but almost gates one on the left, 1:32.9. And this is going to be 14th, 15th, 16th, at 17th at the line. Okay, again, the speed drifting away towards the end of the run, 1:10.66. But again, her 4th World Cup, the most experienced slider in the field here. Janine Flock, 72 World Cup starts now.
Small differential there.
Janine's first race here was back in 2008.
So going through Horseshoe here, she's working really hard on the live shot. We could hear both toes scraping on the ice. The line looks good, but you see her skidding on the exit, and from those toes scraping, you can't work that hard or it just costs you speed at this level.
A big smile from Valentina, who was 11 when Janine Flock first raced on this track. Next up is our World Cup debutante, Anastasia Trufanova of Russia. The 22-year-old Muscovite phoned up the Skeleton Federation after watching at Sochi and said, "Can I join, please?" And amazingly, she went through from a background in synchronized swimming. I think that's a first.
Yeah, a little bit better than equestrian, maybe. Hi, Laura, if you're listening.
5.50 getaway from Trufanova.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was saying to her, you know, -20 and you're in Lycra. This has got to be much colder than synchronized swimming. She said, no, in the winter when you're ready to get in the pool, it's just as cold. Okay.
Little skid going into Sunny, back 9/9400ths of a second. You see she's working for the lines. You got to believe that there are a lot of nerves in your first World Cup race.
She has never been on the track in her career.
She's going to remember that one. Big hit going into telephone, 99.6, so she is down on speed. Good news is there's only 19 athletes, so she's going to get a second run.
In fact, there's only 18 with Laura Dees out, so yes, you're right. She will get in. She's ahead of Valentina Magali.
Little skids in the bottom here.
But the good news is she looks very relaxed. She's trusting the sled. She's doing as little as she can. And actually, although she's skidding, she's hitting very little. She could probably do with a little more control. But a 1:11.28 leaves her at the tail of the field. However, as you say, she will get a second heat, guaranteed a top 20 result.
Anytime you have to go to a track you've never been to, take 6 training runs and race is very difficult. To throw in the multiplier on that and say, oh, by the way, it's your first World Cup, it definitely changes things. So you're going through Horseshoe here, kind of runs that 3/4 height line. It hangs up a bit, and boom, look at the ice fly. That is a hard shot on your hip right there. Look at it throw her body a little bit. Little piece of tape flies off.
A big smile from Anastasia. Now, again, she's here because there are athletes away at the Junior Worlds. Her teammate, former multiple Junior World champion Elena Nikitina, is our first heat leader. But it is a tight lead, only 11 hundredths of a second in hand. And on 1.5 miles of St. Moritz track, that's very easy to give away. Nikitina had a big first heat, but the job is barely half done. She needs an exceptional second run to try and win this one. So Elena Nikitina has never had a medal on this track. In 12 attempts, her teammate Alexander Tretyakov had never had a World Cup medal on this track. His only medal had come as winning the World Championships, but he was in the medals today. Can Nikitina hold on to win from Mimi Reneva? And what about the battle behind? Jacqueline Lurling, Janine Flock, Kendall Westenberg, Sofia Griebel, Kimberly Boston, Tina Herman, Elizabeth Meyer. It's so intensely tight. Look at the gap behind, from 45 hundredths back to 72 hundredths back. All of that and more can be lost or won in the final 2 corners of this track. So when we get into our second heat, with the women coming up just after 2:30 local time here, then we will see who finishes where. Anastasia Trufanova of Russia will be first off, and her teammate Elena Nikitina will defend her lead. Join Greg West, the IBSF TV crew, and me, Martin Haven, for the second heat. We'll be on air at 2:30 local, 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time. We'll see you then. Until then, from St. Moritz, bye for now.